You're tuned in to the English Up Podcast.
Brought to you by the Speak English with Us.
It's 3 p.m. You've been working since 9, but your output, almost nothing.
And the worst part, you weren't even slacking. You were busy the whole time.
That's the trap. Busy doesn't mean productive. And if that hits close to home, this episode's for you.
This is English Up Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. This is a B1 level episode perfect for intermediate learners. Beginners, you're welcome too. We keep it clear and real.
Today's topic: your workflow has a hidden bottleneck. It's stealing roughly 2 hours from you every single day, and you don't even know it's there.
Not because you're lazy, not because you need a better app, but because there's one specific step in your process that's quietly breaking everything downstream.
And here's the thing, fixing every other step won't help. Not even a little. Until you find that one weak link, the whole chain stays slow.
We're going to show you how to find it and fix it without overhauling your entire life.
Quick question before we dive in. When you hit a wall at work, what do? Option A, push harder and grind through it. Option B, open a new tab and pretend it didn't happen. Drop A or B in the comments right now. 3 seconds. Go.
I'm a B, historically. Very much a B.
I used to be a hard A, and I burned out spectacularly. So, lesson learned.
Stay with us until the end for our word tour 5 high-value expressions you'll actually use at work. Words like bottleneck, workflow, streamline, we'll break them all down.
And later, we'll walk you through 2 zero-pressure steps to map your workflow and fix the exact point where everything slows down.
But first, let's talk about why smart, hard-working people still end the day with nothing to show for it.
You're probably thinking right now, I know where I waste time, but here's what we discovered. You almost certainly don't. The real bottleneck is almost never where you think it is.
And that one thing we discovered? It changes everything. Let's get into it.
Let me tell you about a guy named Marcus, project manager. Sharp, organized, genuinely good at his job.
The kind of person who has color-coded calendars and actually uses them.
Exactly. His workflow looked perfect on paper. Morning stand-up, task list, focus blocks, the whole system.
But every single week, he gets stuck on the same invisible wall. Deliverables were late. His team was frustrated, and Marcus couldn't figure out why.
So he did what most people do. Optimized everything he could see. Faster email responses, shorter meetings, better to-do apps.
And nothing changed, because he was fixing the wrong things.
The real problem? Every task Marcus worked on required sign-off from one senior stakeholder, and that person responded to messages maybe once a day, sometimes less.
So Marcus would finish his part, send it over, and then just wait. Sometimes 2 hours, sometimes the whole afternoon.
That waiting time was his bottleneck. One single step in his entire workflow was quietly draining everything else.
And here's what makes bottlenecks so dangerous. They're invisible until you actually map the process. You don't feel them as one big block. You feel them as general tiredness, vague frustration, a sense that the day just slipped away.
Studies show that knowledge workers lose an average of 28% of their workday to unnecessary waiting and task switching. That's over 2 hours. Gone. Every day.
2 hours. That's a whole gym session. Or 3 episodes of something you've been meaning to watch.
The point is it's not small, and most people never pinpoint where it's actually coming from.
So let's make this real. Think about your own workflow right now. What are the 3 to 5 steps you repeat every single day to get work done?
For a writer, it might be research, outline, draft, edit, submit. For a designer, brief, concept, draft, feedback, revise, deliver.
Now here's the question. Which one of those steps always takes longer than it should? Which one do you dread starting? Which one makes everything after it feel rushed?
That hesitation you just felt, that's your brain already knowing the answer.
And by the way, there's actually a name for this. It's called the bottleneck. We'll break it down properly in our word tour later. But the short version is, it's the one point in your workflow where everything slows down and gets stuck.
Goldratt, the management theorist behind the theory of constraints, put it simply. The speed of any system is determined by its slowest point. You can streamline every other step. But if the bottleneck's still there, your overall output doesn't improve.
Which means all that optimization Marcus was doing, completely wasted effort. He was making fast steps faster, while the slow step stayed slow.
I did the exact same thing for about 6 months. Optimized my morning routine, my inbox, my note-taking system. Meanwhile, my actual bottleneck waiting for client feedback before I could move forward was just sitting there, laughing at me.
It really does feel personal when you finally see it.
So the first move isn't to fix anything, it's to find it. And that's exactly what we're going to show you how to do next. So we've established the problem. Your workflow has a bottleneck. You just don't know where it is yet. So let's fix that. Step 1, track 3 days and draw your workflow map.
Okay, walk me through this. What does that actually look like?
Write down the 3 to 5 core tasks you repeat every single day. Then, next to each one, write how long you think it takes. Then, track how long it actually takes. For 3 days straight.
And let me guess, those two numbers are never the same.
Never. Not once. I did this myself last quarter. I thought my morning planning took 10 minutes. It was taking 34 every single day.
34 minutes just to plan?
Because I wasn't just planning, I was checking messages, rereading yesterday's notes, opening files I didn't need yet. It looked like planning. It wasn't.
So the bottleneck was hiding inside a task that felt normal.
Exactly, and that's the whole point of the workflow map. You're not guessing anymore. You're looking at real data. You can actually pinpoint the step that's consistently longer than expected. And that's your bottleneck?
Okay, but here's my pushback. What if every step feels slow? What if I track 3 days and everything looks like a bottleneck?
Then you're not looking at it right. One step is always slower than the others. Always. You just have to compare them against each other, not against some ideal version of your day.
But what if the bottleneck isn't even my fault? What if I get stuck waiting for someone else to reply before I can move forward? I can't control that.
That's actually one of the most common bottlenecks, external dependencies. Waiting for approvals, waiting for feedback, waiting for a file someone promised to send. And you're right, you can't control other people. But you can control when you hit that wall.
How? If I need their reply to move forward, I need their reply.
Here's step 2, bottleneck front loading. You move the bottleneck to the beginning of your day, your highest energy window, and you prepare everything it needs in advance. So if you're waiting on someone's feedback, you send the request the night before. You don't wait until you're ready to use it. You start the clock early.
So instead of hitting the wall at 2 p.m. when your energy's already gone, you hit it at 9 a.m. when you can actually deal with it.
And while you're waiting, you work on tasks that don't depend on that reply. You streamline the sequence. The bottleneck doesn't disappear, but it stops blocking everything else.
Okay, but I want to challenge this more. Because I've tried time blocking before. I've tried planning my mornings. And it works for like 4 days. Then life happens, a meeting gets added, someone needs something urgent. The whole system collapses.
That's not a flaw in the method. That's a flaw in how rigid you're making it. The workflow map isn't a schedule. It's a diagnostic tool. You use it to find the bottleneck once, and then you fix the structure, not the calendar.
But what does fix the structure actually mean? That sounds abstract.
Concrete example. Let's say your bottleneck is that every time you start a new project, you spend 20 minutes hunting for the right template, the right folder, the right previous file. That's not a time management problem. That's a setup problem. You fix it once, create one folder, one template, one checklist, and that 20 minutes disappears permanently. Not just on good days, every day.
Okay, that's actually different from what I was picturing. I was thinking you'd say wake up earlier or use a timer.
No, waking up earlier just gives you more time to hit the same bottleneck earlier. That's not a fix, that's just suffering with better lighting.
Okay, that's fair, but here's my last pushback, and I think this is real. What if someone tracks their workflow, finds the bottleneck, front loads it, and it's still slow? What if the bottleneck is just a hard task that takes time no matter what?
Then you've learned something valuable. Some tasks are slow because they're complex, and that's okay. The goal isn't to make everything fast, it's to stop other things from being slow because of that one task. If writing a report takes 2 hours, fine. But if that report is also blocking 3 other people from doing their work, you move it earlier. You batch the inputs. You protect that time. You don't just let it floated wherever it lands.
So the theory of constraints isn't about making the bottleneck faster. It's about making sure the bottleneck doesn't hold everything else hostage.
That's it. Goldratt's whole point was this. You don't need a perfect system. You need a system where the weakest link is managed, not ignored. Because the moment you stop ignoring it, everything else starts moving.
And honestly, that's a much more manageable goal than overhauling your entire workflow from scratch.
One fix, one link. That's all it takes to get unstuck.
Okay, so we've talked about the problem, the theory, and the 2 steps to fix it. That's a lot of good stuff already.
And now it's time for our word tour. 5 expressions we use throughout this episode. Words that'll make you sound sharper at work.
These aren't textbook words. These are the real ones. The ones that actually come up in meetings, in emails, in conversations with your manager.
Let's break them down.
Let's start with the word that's basically the whole point of this episode. Bottleneck. We've said it probably 15 times today, but let's make sure it really sticks.
A bottleneck is a point in a process that slows everything else down. The image comes from an actual bottle. The neck is narrow, so liquid can only pass through slowly, no matter how much is waiting behind it.
And at work, it's the same idea. You could have 10 tasks moving smoothly, but if one step is jammed, nothing gets through. The approval process is our biggest bottleneck right now.
Or, we need to fix this bottleneck before the product launch. It's used a lot in business, in tech, in project management. If you say this word in a meeting, people will notice.
In a good way. Okay, next one, and this one's connected. Workflow. Your workflow is a sequence of steps you follow to complete a task. It's your process, your system, your routine all wrapped into one word.
I need to improve my workflow. Our team's workflow is too complicated. It sounds professional without being stiff, and it's way more specific than just saying the way I work.
Right, because the way I work sounds like you're describing a personality. My workflow sounds like something you can actually change.
Which leads perfectly into streamline. To streamline something means to make it simpler and faster by cutting out the steps that don't need to be there. You're not just speeding up, you're removing friction.
We streamlined the onboarding process. I'm trying to streamline my morning routine. It works for big systems and small habits, and it always sounds like you know what you're doing.
Which, after this episode, You do. Now get stuck. This one's a phrasal verb, and it's incredibly natural in spoken English.
To get stuck means to stop making progress because something is blocking you. It's not that you gave up. It's that something internal or external is in the way.
I keep getting stuck on the same step every morning. We got stuck waiting for the client to respond. It's honest, it's relatable, and native speakers use it constantly.
And it pairs really well with bottleneck, actually. I get stuck at this point because it's the bottleneck in my workflow. That one sentence uses 3 of today's words.
Nice. Okay, last one, and this might be my favorite. Pinpoint. To pinpoint something means to find or identify it exactly and precisely, not roughly, not approximately. Exactly.
Can you pinpoint where the problem started? I finally pinpointed the step that was slowing me down. It's a strong, confident verb. It says, I looked carefully and I found it.
And that's exactly what the workflow map does. It doesn't just tell you something's wrong, it helps you pinpoint the specific step that's causing the damage. That precision is what makes the fix actually work.
So to recap the 5: bottleneck, workflow, streamline, get stuck, pinpoint. These aren't just vocabulary. Words, they're the exact language professionals use when they talk about productivity, process improvement, and problem solving.
Use them in your next meeting. Drop one into an email. Say them out loud a few times until they feel natural. That's how they move from words I know to words I use.
And honestly, just knowing these 5 words makes you sound like someone who has their workflow figured out, even if you're still working on it.
Which, to be fair, we all are.
Okay, let's bring it home. Today we talked about something that most productivity advice completely misses: the hidden bottleneck inside your workflow.
Not your mindset, not your motivation. One specific step that's quietly slowing down everything else. And the fix isn't working harder, it's working on the right thing first.
So here's what we want you to actually do this week. Step 1, pick just one day. Step 3, just one, and write down every task you do and how long each one actually takes. Don't estimate. Track it for real.
Step 2, look at that list and find the step that consistently runs over. That's your bottleneck you've just pinpointed. That alone puts you ahead of most people.
And step 3, move that task to your morning. Protect that time slot. Prepare everything it needs the night before. Don't let it float to 3 p.m. when your energy's already gone.
3 steps, 1 week. That's all we're asking. And if you actually do it, your workflow will feel different. Not perfect different. Lighter. Less stuck.
I'm doing this too, by the way. I've been avoiding my own workflow map for weeks. So, we're in this together.
Accountability partners right here on the podcast.
Before you go, we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what's the one step in your day where you always seem to get stuck? Is it starting? Is it waiting? Is it switching between tasks?
We read every single comment. Seriously, drop it below. We want to know what your bottleneck actually is.
Thanks for listening to English Up. We'll see you in the next one.
Keep moving forward. Bye for now.